Hey, folks, welcome to the Accessible Hunter Podcast. I'm Greg Trainer along with my co host, Mike Hudson. And today we got a really good podcast coming up. We're going to be talking with Chris Waymire from Indiana, and he's going to join us here in a minute. But, Mike, what's going on in South Carolina, brother?
Man, it's been one of those busy weeks, dude. We're kind of doing things different. Being a Friday, we usually try to kick them in Thursday, but man, we've been all over the place. So we had Roll on Capitol Hill this week, virtually. So we were doing some advocacy with it and talking to our South Carolina constituents, and being able to talk to multiple senators. So we got to speak to six different senators or reps. And then yesterday, a couple of the guys from our nonprofit Roar, we got to go out and talk to the rehab hospital and share with some of their practitioners. So, man, it's just been one of those weeks. You know how it goes, man. We're just trying to make the week and trying to advocate when we can.
Man, you had a really busy week. I knew that you were doing the roll on Capitol Hill and talking with the senators and stuff, but I didn't realize you were also at the rehab hospital and talking with some physicians and practitioners and stuff. How'd that go? What was that like?
Man, it was great. So, our rehab hospital, they're a little bit smaller than Shepherd Center, of course, and all that. But I took Jeremy Chapman with us. And so, the folks that have listened to the podcast before know Jeremy, but we were able to team up. And, it was great because Chapman, that's where he actually went through rehab. And then so we were able to share. We'll get to Chris. But man, I tell you, life full circle. You and I talk about it all the time. We were sitting in there and we only had 40 minutes or so. And so about, I don't know, 5 minutes into this speech, I saw this lady stand up at the very back of this place, and Chapman's whole demeanor changed. And I handed him the mic because he just had this look. And come to find out, man, that was his original OT from when he got hurt 20 plus years ago. And so just for her to be at a speaking engagement like that is just mind blowing, man.
Man,
Mind blowing.
isn't that something how you can come in as a patient and you do your rehab, and then for that therapist to be able to see his success, him 20
Right.
years later coming back in and talking to doctors and giving back to the community. So you're right, brother. That's what it's all about.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm glad that you guys got to experience that, and the folks around them got to hear that as well.
Oh man, it's one of those things you talk about resiliency, and we just tell them all the time, you guys set the tone. You guys set the tone. So,
Chris, man, thanks for joining us on the podcast today, man. I'm sorry to keep you waiting, but we
Oh,
appreciate you coming on today.
thank you for having me.
Chris, for the folks that don't follow you on Instagram or maybe haven't ran into you online, would you mind introducing yourself a little bit to everyone?
Yeah, my name's Chris Waymire. I'm 52 years old from Indiana. Uh, I was born with spina bifida. It's a level 4. So I walked with crutches up till about 2005. And in 2005, I had a hip replacement. Within the hip replacement, I had some nerve damage in my leg
yeah.
that caused me to lose the function below the knee. So I went to a wheelchair more full time. Tried the PT and everything, but just the nerves wouldn't come back. So now I use the power chair to get around, track chair to hunt.
Man, we got to see some of your hunting pictures on Instagram this year, and we're really looking forward to hearing more about how you're getting out. And you were tearing up the turkeys this year.
Yeah, it was a pretty good year this year.
Yeah, how nonchalant he is. It was okay.
Yeah, honestly, it's probably one of the quickest hunts I've ever had. So it was pretty good.
Man, Chris, have you always been into hunting? Did you start hunting at a young age, or how did that come about?
To go back on a little bit, again, I say, I'm 52 years old. I've been hunting since I was 7 years old.
Wow.
My dad was a hunter. And then I've got an older brother that's 5 years older than me that's able bodied. And, I always went hunting with him.
Right.
It, so it's been in the family blood.
Yes, sir.
That seems always to be the way of it, right? Where do you learn it from? What got you inspired? We have to have something that just piques your interest. And Chris, that's usually the way it is. We've all learned from our grandfather or our brothers or whatever. And it sounds like we're soapboxing, man. It goes right back to the same thing. We love to talk about what really draws you into the woods. And most of the time it gets back to, man, I love hunt camp. We can talk trash. It doesn't matter about a person's disability. You go right back, and if you miss a bird or if I catch a bigger fish, I'm gonna let you hold it.
You know, I think the hunting community has been one of the best things. I've met so
Yes.
many friends over the years. Uh, you know, we've got friends from Georgia that we trade hunt with. We go down there in the springtime and hunt turkeys because in Indiana you can get one, down there you can get three.
Right.
Up in the fall, they come up here and deer hunt with us, and you know, it's been a good, long lasting friendship.
Yes, sir. Chris, growing up with a disability, spina bifida, and being so young, getting out hunting, did you need any accommodations, or what was it like, 50 years ago, as a person with a disability hunting? How did that come about?
You know, back in the day, like I said, I could walk with crutches and stuff. I didn't let anything stop me. We had the old wooden ladder stands back in the trees and stuff,
Oh
and
yeah.
I'd climb them ladder stands. My brother would like go behind me, and I had the one leg I couldn't get real good, so he'd lift my foot up, put it on the next step. He'd climb the ladder up with, and I'd go up to the next step.
It was probably one of those things you guys weren't wearing harnesses or anything else, man. It's
Oh
just,
no, no, with
yeah,
that
right.
those safety systems wasn't heard of back then.
No, man. And we're dating ourselves here, man. But that's what's fun is like how me and Greg didn't end up in the chair years before. The number of times I've fallen out of the old wooden stand and hit the ground and still got up trucking, man. It's something.
You're
Oh,
you're
absolutely.
not kidding, Mike. I remember my first tree stand was a couple of two by fours and some really long spikes nailed into the tree, and climbing up and standing on a little 2 by 3 platform,
Right,
with
right.
no safety harness. And of course, I was probably out the night before until 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, and didn't have a seat or anything to even stand on. It's a
Nah.
wonder. It's a wonder we ever survived those times. But thank God we know a lot better now. And they
Oh
have
yeah.
these linemen's ropes where you
Right.
can get connected to your safety harness even before you leave the ground. And even today, in 2026, we hear stories of people losing their life or becoming
Yeah.
severely
Yeah.
injured, falling out of a tree stand.
You know,
So
that's one of those things too. Over the years, like I said, when I went to the wheelchair and stuff, couldn't do the climbing like I used
Right.
to. So I started doing the ground blind hunting. I never
Yeah.
realized it was one of those things. I thought, my hunting's going to change. I'm never going to be able to. I'll never see that deer. I'll never see that turkey again. They're not.
Yeah.
They're not going to get that close to me. And I'm totally surprised over the years. I used to hunt right out of a Polaris Ranger.
Right.
I'd back that thing right into the brush, and it was a camouflage Ranger. And how close that deer would get to me or that turkey would, it floored me. I thought, man, I'll never see one. My closest deer I killed with a crossbow one time was at 7 yards, right out of the Polaris Ranger.
It's
wow,
crazy. It's crazy how close you can get to them sometimes. I've had deer spook me, man. Be sitting in a ground blind and I'm not seeing anything, and I lean forward just to take a look, and there's one right beside the blind,
Oh
and
yeah.
that's happened to me more times than not, man. Scare the fool out of you.
Well, I had a turkey come up from behind me one year, and it started putting and stuff right behind me. Like it scared me. Didn't even hear it, and all of a sudden it was right there. Oh, where'd you come from?
Chris, you brought up Georgia, man. I was hunting South Georgia one time, and I told Greg this. We had birds come in right behind us, and there were three longbeards. We never thought they would approach us that way because I had everything around my chair camouflaged
Hmm.
except my back. And man, they came in, and when he hammered down, if I did not have my seatbelt on in my chair, I'd have come out of that seat, man. He scared me to death.
Yeah, I bet.
I always say it's a good thing they're not hunting us, Mike, because they sneak up
Whoa,
on us
boy.
every time, right?
Right, right.
And Chris, you brought up a really good point about being able to hunt out of a side by side.
Hmm.
I think that it definitely breaks up our outline, and deer and turkeys just aren't looking for the human in that machine. And I was talking with my wife the other day about groundhog hunting. We got some groundhogs on the farm that we're trying to take into hand this year, and she said, "Well, I don't think they're skittish at all. I get really close to them on the riding mower." I said, "Baby, you got to start putting a rifle on the riding mower then, because
Yep.
I turn my head sideways and they run like they're scalded, So
Uh,
I think that's just creatures in general, Greg. It's funny enough. You could be out riding around all day long. We could roll down through the property. I'm seeing deer everywhere. You walk inside, grab that rifle, and it's just like, something turns on. They know.
oh, I know.
It's crazy, right? Life's just
I
funny
get
that way.
I get the trail cams out through the year and everything. Oh, yeah, I get all these pictures. Opening day comes up, don't see a thing.
Right. I don't know who's telling them what date the calendar is, but we need to have a discussion.
Yeah.
Chris, you mentioned ground blind hunting, and Mike and I have been ground blind hunters for a lot of years after our tree stand injuries or tree stand days, I should say. But what kind of ground blind do you like to have, and how do you go about setting up your ground blind?
Uh, just this year, I purchased one of those. I think it's called, and I'll probably butcher the name up, but it's Tidewee.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I got one myself.
Me too. Good
Oh,
stuff.
oh, I'm telling you, the zip up with the door, the way it opens, I can
Yep.
back. I hunt now out of a track chair. I can
Hmm.
back that track chair right in that blind, zip it up myself. It's wonderful.
Is that something you can easily access on your own, or do you need assistance with it, or?
Usually I never hunt alone. I always hunt with somebody. Uh, but it is something I can do.
Yeah.
It's very easy to pop up. But yeah, to answer that question, I still hunt with my brother, my best friend that was in that turkey picture with me this year. He's here
Yeah.
with me. He's here with me today, listening in.
Hey,
Awesome.
man. Welcome. Welcome.
Those garage doors that they're putting on these blinds now, they make it so easy for people with disabilities and our wheelchairs to get in. But it's also great if you got kids or you have a couple of people trying to get in and out of the ground blind easily. That Tidewee with the see-through sides and the garage door back, man, that's a really good blind. I just started hunting out of that myself this year.
Yeah, I really love it. I've got three stepchildren, and I've taken them all three hunting.
Yeah.
And now I've got two grandchildren that are coming up in the ranks that are wanting to go hunting with me this year.
Absolutely.
The oldest one being 10, and
You,
the grandson being 7. So we're gonna get them into hunting now. Get
yes,
that
sir.
going.
Got to push the next generation, man. But, talking about ground blinds and just the changes. So, Greg brought up like those garage doors. Man, those things are game changers. And then you remember the old blinds, you would have so much Velcro on the windows and whatnot. Man, there was no way to make that quiet. You just got to open it up. It's terrible. Now you got the little slide devices. Man,
Yeah,
it's a game changer.
it is. It totally is.
Yes,
And,
sir.
and, and of course, we're not sponsored by Tidewee, but
Nah.
I definitely want to give those guys a shout out for their windows. They go a little bit lower, so if you're in a wheelchair,
Yep.
you're still able to have a good sight line with your crossbow or your shotgun getting out.
And as a wheelchair hunter like that, like you're saying, it's hard to determine if those windows are going to fit your height,
Yes.
whatever.
Yes.
That was spooky too when I was purchasing the thing. Because it's like, is this really going to work? Am I going to waste my money and get it and I'll not be able to see out of it?
Yep.
And
Right.
it worked perfect.
Yes, sir. Those windows, they go down really low and they're almost silent in opening and closing. There's no Velcro. There's no noise really. I found it to be one of the better blinds that I've used in the past. And like I
Yeah.
said, folks, we're not sponsored by Tidewee, but we're really convenient for this wheelchair user.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's all about finding that piece of product that works best for you. But, like Chris said, a lot of folks don't understand that. We'll set up something for a person in a chair and we get the wind and all of us are different heights, right? So our chairs are different heights, all of that. So we get into the blind, we think we got it set right. You set your rifle on the rest or whatever you do and you prop it up, man, and you're looking, you can only see up. You can't even you can't even pitch it down and you're stuck. And so, as an able-bodied individual, I just step up and make an easy turn. We don't have that option.
Mhm. Yes, sir.
There's a lot of preparatory work.
How many times have you guys taken a log and propped the front of your ground blind up on it to raise that front window up so you weren't shooting through your blind?
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. Hey, that, Greg, you bring it up too. You got to be a master of change and just be prepared to make a change. Or, now we've got technology. My chair can raise and all that, which is phenomenal. We didn't always have that.
Yep.
Most of my chairs didn't have bells or whistles, and so you're kind of captive, man. There's been times I've been tempted just to sit outside the blind and say, I'm not even going to fight with this thing.
Yeah, yeah. I've been there too, buddy. Just back up against the brush pile and hope for the best.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I think we've all been there on that one.
Oh,
Yep,
yeah.
yep. Plans change, but Chris, you want to tell us a little bit about your turkey hunt this spring? I'll post a picture of it later for the folks that need to see it. But it was pretty exciting. You want to tell us about it?
Uh, Again, the exciting part, it was one of the state draw hunts. Um, I was really excited to go on. I'd never been on one of the draw hunts for the Indiana draw,
Really? Okay.
and with that, I could take somebody with me. So,
Mhm.
I called them, talked to them, explained that I was a handicap hunter. So my best friend went with me that had never been turkey hunting before. He'd been deer hunting with me several years, but never been turkey hunting, never experienced it. It was awesome. We went into it's called Mississinawa Reservoir. Got set up that morning, perfect location. They had an old cornfield that hadn't been picked yet that they used for late dove season,
Yeah.
and it had a mowed path all the way around it, and it come out to a leading path that led out to an open picked cornfield. So we sat right there in that opening. Never been there, don't know what's going on. Just I'm thinking prime location. It's a cross through. If anything's coming, it's going to probably cross through there. The hunt lasted maybe 20 minutes. We get there, get set up. The bird starts gobbling at 6:30. He gobbles 3 or 4 times off the roost, hits the ground, and comes running right into my decoy setup. 5 yards from the decoy, I put him down.
Wow.
Fantastic, brother.
You
Fantastic.
can't script it any better.
So then I looked at my buddy and I'm like, "So, what do you think about your first time turkey hunting?"
Right, right.
And
It's yeah.
he kind of looks and he said, "Well, happened fast enough." He said, "I don't really know."
Right, right. And you didn't fool with him and say, "Man, it's always this easy. These are just dumb birds, man.
That's
No
what I told him.
problem."
I said, "Don't go thinking it's that easy." I said, "Believe
No,
me, it's not."
heck no.
What's your buddy's name, Chris?
Jason Thackeray.
Jason, you got to come out to Pennsylvania because you might be the good luck charm there, brother. If you're killing birds in 20 minutes, I might need you to come out and sit with me.
He's laughing at you guys.
Chris,
Yeah.
now were you in your track chair that morning? Did you take your track chair?
Yes, sir. I was in my track chair, no ground blind. Like I said, because we were just planning on hunt, running and gunning and kind of thing, trying to locate him because new area, had no idea where the birds were.
And
Right.
what were you using? A shotgun or a crossbow or?
I was using an ATA 12 gauge.
Mhm.
Nice,
Yep.
nice.
3
Do you use any type of mount or any type of trigger assist? Any specialized equipment?
I do. I had the swing away armrest, the gun rest on the track chair.
Yeah.
That thing, I had it set up just perfect. I had it right in front of the decoys. Like I said, he come in. It was just a slight little movement. It was
You know, Chris, you brought up something that most people don't understand unless you're a wheelchair hunter. Me and Greg do the exact same thing. I try to get my shotgun set right on my decoys, close to it, because I don't know what your dexterity issue is and how much movement you have. Greg and I, as quads, we have very little side to side movement, so we try to get set pretty good. And we've hunted out of track chairs, and we have them as well. They're not quiet, and my everyday chair makes a click every time you hit the joystick, so I try to avoid any of that.
Yep. I
But
try to get in there and get set up. Like you said, get yourself positioned, and that's where you're hunting.
Yep,
yeah,
that's where you're hunting, Chris.
You're facing one way. So if
yeah,
that's coming behind you, left or right, it's a waiting game. You hope he comes out. If he don't, he don't.
And you have about 10 or 15 yards one way or the other that you can move that shotgun. And
yeah,
as Mike said, you want to make sure that you're having your height predetermined because you don't want to have to turn your chair on to adjust the height like we do.
Yeah.
That's always a big factor that I've got to see when I'm crossbow hunting. where I think that kill zone is on that deer and try to set up to eliminate as much movement as I can.
Yeah.
And experience goes a long way. You get to know where you need to be set up and how you need to be set up, and it's definitely a waiting game for us people with disabilities.
Oh yes, yeah.
So, Chris,
I've had them before where they come in behind you, and that's when you hope, like for turkey, you hope your calling's good. 'Cause maybe you can talk them around in front of you.
yeah, and that's one of the things too, is sometimes you just have to either try to wait them out or let the bird go or whatever it is. And, we do the best we can with what we got, but at the same token, we don't want to make a bad shot or wound any animals or anything like that. But
You talked about turkey calling, Chris. Do you use a diaphragm or a box or a slate? How do you get these 20-minute turkeys?
Yeah, as luck would have it, with the spina bifida along came that I'm allergic to latex, so that did away with the diaphragm. So I use a slate call,
Nice,
and
nice.
I've got a couple of different box calls that I can use, but I really love that slate. I can usually sleep
yeah,
with them.
you brought up your hunting partner, and this time this was his first turkey hunt and all that. Is there any specific memory over time that would be one of the go-to deer that you would willing to share for some of the people that hadn't followed you on Instagram?
Oh my God, yeah.
Throw them under the bus, brother. Come on with it.
This goes back several years ago. He come down deer hunting with me, and it was the second weekend of deer season, so I'd been out week before. Kind of disappointed. I've seen some small little deer, nothing big. So I told him, I said, just hunt with me. You come in like Friday evening, you're gonna hunt with me Saturday morning. And I said, just hunt with me Saturday morning, and you set my blind, see what we see, and then we can go look for you a spot. He said, all right. We get in there. And at that time I had a double bull blind,
Oh yeah.
and we're sitting in there side by side. And like right at 8 o'clock, I hear some rustling off to our left. And I look up, and here comes a doe. All right, now that's freezer meat. I'll shoot her. She comes out. I thought, wait, and I looked up, and there comes a little 10-pointer running right behind her. Nope, okay. So I pulled the gun up real quick. I mean, got him out there, and bleep, he stopped. Boom, shoot him. I seen his leg go like this. He took off kind of into the woods. I got him. Well, lo and behold, just as I put my gun down, here comes a bigger 10-pointer
Oh, wow.
out of the woods. Well, in Indiana, you're only allowed one buck. So I'm kind of looking at him. I'm like leaning over, plugging my ear. I'm like, shoot. He gets boom, and he shoots his bigger deer, and it ends up making Boone and Crockett. What did it score? 156.
Wow.
So you both shot 10 points right after each other out of the same double bull blind, same day.
Yes, sir. And,
Wow.
well, and to finish the story, after he shoots his big buck, it runs off the same spot that mine went in the woods. But when it does that, the doe comes back out of the. I shoot her. So now we got 2 bucks and a doe.
Now,
Wow.
did you have your track chair with you that day?
No, this is before tractor chairs. Like I said, this goes back.
So your buddy had to drag out all those deer.
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
Hey, that's all right. He had that Boone to think about. He's good. He's good. But man, you know what, Greg? I think you hit the nail on the head, buddy. It sounds like he's a good luck charm. I might have to get him up with his horseshoe.
Heck yeah, man. Heck yeah. Now, Chris, do you guys ever travel to hunt, or do you mostly hunt local? Do you hunt private land or state land? What's usually your hunting situation like?
Usually it's private land. We've got 40 acres right here where I live that I can hunt on, and then we lease like another 300 acres that adjoins ours. So
Wow,
a lot of my hunting's just right here at the house.
that's awesome. And it sounds like you put out some trail cams. And do you do any food plots or any maintenance to the properties?
We've got one little good food plot set up, and of course, like throughout the year, I'll do the mineral blocks and some of that stuff for the deer. after turkey season, throw some corn out there for the turkeys.
You
Try to.
know, man, what's interesting is just how many places across our country have so many different seasons. You know, you have some places that have spring and fall turkey, and some of them, only spring. And, if you were looking back, Chris, deer and turkey, that's your main go-to.
It is.
If you had a dream animal, and I ask this just about of every person we get, what would be the animal that's on your bucket list?
I tell everybody out there, there's two dream animals. One's a black bear and one's an elk. Two of my bucket list. I
Yeah.
got a chance to go to Quebec, Canada, probably 10
Oh,
years
yeah.
on a black bear hunt, and it was a 3-day hunt. The only bear we seen was on the way back home, and all the guns and everything was in the U-Haul that we were pulling behind us
Wow.
as it runs across the road in front of us. It's the only bear we seen out of the 3
Wow.
days.
I've been on a bear hunt before myself, Chris, as an able-bodied person, and of course I didn't get a bear, but I had a funny story. I was standing in a tree stand, and I thought a bear was coming through, and I was getting ready. I had my 300 Win rifle, and the animal was crossing, and I see this big nose come across the trail. It turned out to be a moose. The
Oh, my.
the brush was so high I couldn't see it except for the shooting lanes. And instead of a black bear, it was a moose. So I never did get a black bear. That would probably be on my bucket list too, is to get a black bear.
I, I think that'd be super. And this is one thing too. When we go back to the movement of the wheelchair and everything, people don't realize the first time I'd ever, we come from Indiana. We don't have black bear.
Yeah.
Right.
We don't have animals here that can eat you. I mean, a coyote's the biggest thing we got, and they're pretty much scared of you. You are them. So I go on this bear hunt, and it's a guided. They said it's a guided hunt. Well, their idea of a guided hunt was to take you out, show you where the bait barrel was,
Right.
fill it full of jelly donuts and fish or whatever it is they fill it with, and we'll pick you back up at dark. We'll see you later.
Yep.
And they leave you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, they didn't put me in a tree stand. They didn't
Right.
put me in a ground blind. What
Right.
they put me in was a folding chair 30 yards away from this bucket
Yep.
Right. Right.
in a brush pile.
So
Yep.
so you were the second bear bait that day.
That's exactly it.
I'll tell you what, I was nervous every time a twig snapped. I'm looking around.
Oh, yeah.
Probably why I didn't see a bear.
Chris, that's funny that you say that, because in Canada, you can hunt until about 11 o'clock at night before it gets really dark.
Exactly.
And I was a young man. I was probably, I don't know, 25. So when we hunt it until dark. And then the guide says you have to unload your rifle and
No.
walk back to the pickup spot. And of course, I said earlier that brush up there was really super thick. So I unload my rifle, climb down out of the tree stand, and I still got probably a half a mile to walk back to the pickup spot. And I'm starting to scratch my head thinking maybe it wasn't such a good idea unloading this rifle with bear bait all around and me still having a half mile to walk back to the pickup spot. So it can give you pause.
It's kind of an eerie feeling.
It is. But Chris, that's when you take your buddy and just hope you can outrun him.
Unfortunately, Mike, we're the buddies that everybody can't outrun. That's the problem, brother.
They stake us off, man. I can see them reaching down and turning the motor off where we can't get going.
Man, about 10 years ago, my wife and I were hunting out in Illinois. And again, we hunt until dark. And she collapsed the ground blind down, and I was in my track chair, and we had about probably a mile to get back to the van. And as we're starting out, I hear one coyote howl. And I looked at my wife and I said, that's pretty cool. You hear that coyote. And not 5 seconds later, the whole pack started howling. And they were a lot closer than what we thought they were, Chris.
Oh, yeah.
And my wife said, we better get back to the van. And I'd already shot my crossbow off into the ground. So again, I'm unarmed, and we got flashlights and headlamps on, and we're trekking another half mile back to the van without being armed. So that was another close experience.
It's an eerie feeling. We've got plenty of coyotes, and now our big thing is bobcat.
Yeah.
We just this last year opened up a bobcat season for trapping, and it was a 250 limit, and then the season would end, or it had a certain date. But if you got to the 250 limit, then they ended the season. Well, it didn't take very long. They caught the 250 in the season, so they're
Have
going to up it this year. They said I think the limit this year is going to be 400.
Have you seen any on your trail cams on the
Oh,
properties that you manage?
absolutely. Absolutely. I've got one. I get him probably every 3 or 4 days.
There you
Wow,
go.
that'd be awesome. A buddy of mine got a bobcat one time and has a
Hmm.
taxidermy mound of it eating a squirrel on a log.
Yeah.
And I always thought, man, if I ever had the opportunity to get a bobcat, I'd love to have something like that done for the room, you know?
Oh yeah.
For those that don't hunt, you get out there and you hear a bobcat cut loose at night. That right there, it gets you to clear your britches.
It will get you going. I tell you what, this is last year. I went by myself up the place I hunt, and I was crossbow hunting. Got that track chair backed into the spot. Just as I backed into the spot, I looked up. I seen something moving in the field, little hay field that I was hunting. What is that? And I look up, and it's a bobcat. He'd come out of the woods, and he just sat down in the middle of the field. And we're just looking around, pretty easy, please. Oh, well, this is kind of eerie because he's a pretty big cat. I've only got one arrow.
Yeah. Yeah.
You better make that one arrow count, brother.
You know, them crossbows, you can't reload them fast enough.
Oh no.
No,
No.
sir. No,
And see,
sir.
that's one of the crazy things about hunting in the South, man. We got every bit of that, man, that's chasing you down. We have black bear and coyotes and hogs and you name it, they're here. And most of the time, they're not trying to fool with you, but you just don't want that time when they're a little bit on the fester side.
That's right. Chris, being in Indiana, it sounds like you have a pretty good community around you of hunters and friends and stuff. And have you had any chance, growing up to uh, experience what it's like working with the community on disabled hunt projects or making making your area more accessible for people with disabilities to get outdoors or any experience like that?
Yeah, I have. I'm actually a lifetime member of Wheeling Sportsman, which is
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
which is a part of the NWTF now.
Hmm.
Of course, this dates myself. I got in it back when it was just Wheeling Sportsman
Yeah.
Yeah.
before NWTF took them over. Uh, and with that, I've been down to Georgia. I went on a deer hunt with them, and it was Union Station, Georgia. I think was the name of the town.
Okay. Yeah.
Uh, it was a fun, good time. They're good people. Uh,
That was
Here in
we
Indiana,
get.
go ahead.
No, I was gonna say go ahead, buddy, because it was cutting out just a little bit on my end.
Here in Indiana, I'm with a group called Hunters Helping Hunters.
Yes.
Uh, they're an awesome group for our area. They take, like say, deer season. They take 6 hunters out that's disabled in the state of Indiana. Don't matter, and they bring them here to our county, Park County. They will pay the hotel room. They will pay for your deer license, a buck and a doe tag. All you have to do is show up and bring your gun and your camel.
That's wonderful, Chris.
If you get a deer and it runs off or whatever, they have a guy that'll go out and track your deer down. Have a guy that'll field dress your deer. They're an awesome organization.
Man, that's great to hear. For somebody that's newly injured, they may not have friends like you have or Mike and I
Mhm.
have that are willing to take us out. And when you have a group like that brings people in, pays for the hotel, pays for the license, has people that are willing to help field dress the deer and get you out there, that's a blessing. Such a blessing.
It is, and like I said, Wheeling Sportsmen, don't get me wrong, is a really great organization, but they're so big and widespread. This is a little local organization that they
Right.
started. They have what they call a Northern Indiana chapter and a Southern Indiana chapter, and they're just an awesome group.
I've been able to hunt with that same groupings that you're talking about. Good stuff. Way back when Kirk Thomas and all those guys started, that Wheeling Sportsman section, and it came out of South Carolina's Edgefield area, and then really branched out. And man, it's a beautiful thing to see so many organizations that are getting out and helping people. And it goes back to something that Greg said and Chris just kind of reiterated on. As disabled hunters and people that need some assistance, it's always amazing to see the number of people that come out in the community that just want to pour back into to helping. Um, and it just goes back to we are a huge community.
Well, and to go back to with that Triple H group, the Hunters Helping Hunters,
Yeah.
It's a local group in my county, is the Southern Unit, and so I know a lot of the guys that work with this group, and
Yeah.
they're hunters too, and that's what's neat. They'll take that weekend when they take this day disabled hunters out, and these guys are hunters too. They're losing their hunting time
Yes.
to help these other people,
Right.
Yes, sir.
and that says something to me.
Mike and I talk about that all the time, Chris, that we're always so appreciative of
Yes.
people that do this because you're right. They're giving up their weekend, they're giving up family time, they're giving up their hunting time to come
Mhm.
out and go hunting with us. And most of the time they spend all day with you. They're never in a rush to get you in and get you out, that kind of thing. And it's really a selfless sacrifice that these men and women make to be able to get us out hunting that day.
And these guys, like I said, that they go all out. They have the blinds set up. They actually have a tree stand that has about a 30-foot ramp goes up into it.
Wow.
They take you by, say, like a Polaris Ranger, you went with a wagon, whatever. You and your scooter or whatever it is you're in,
Yeah.
right to the blind. They drop you off, set you up, then they come back and get you. They give you a walkie-talkie. When you're done, you get cold, whatever, call us. They'll come back and pick you up.
Nice.
Yeah. Hey,
It's a cool organization.
a lot better than that bear hunt where they just staked you off and said, "Good luck, man."
Yeah. And that was the killer. Go back on that bear hunt. My bait was 20 miles from camp.
Wow.
We were in the Algonquin Mountains up in Quebec,
Yeah.
3 hours away from a cell phone signal. We had no phone, nothing.
Yep.
It was a little eerie. I was thinking that was the bait.
Let me ask you this, though, Chris. Would you have been happy to be surrounded by bears, or were you glad that you were not surrounded by bears on that trip?
I think at that time, I think I was glad I wasn't, because I'm pretty sure I probably wouldn't have seen a bear. Heck, I was probably whistling and everything else. Please eat me.
Right. Here, bear, I'm over here. Don't come. Don't come. Right.
Oh man, that's good
We make
stuff.
light of it, man. But you know what? We're out there and we're on the ground. It's always amazing to see animals. But it's also one of those little leery things. I'm 3'6" now, and it can get up close and personal really quick.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Chris, you've obviously taken a lot of game. You've killed a lot of turkeys, a lot of deer, and for us, it's not about what you harvest anymore. At least
Right.
as we get older, it's about the experience. And could you kind of talk a little bit about what the outdoors means to you and the ability to get out and socialize with your friends and enjoy the outdoors?
Again, I say it means the world to me, because, like I said, it's a family thing. I've been doing it since I was 7 years old. I'm 52 years old now. I've got my kids into it now. Starting the grandkids. My best friend, I've shared it with him. And a few other friends along the way that I've gotten into doing different hunts with. It's just it's an awesome feeling.
Yes, sir.
It's all about making memories and trying to do that generational gap to get the guys and girls out. And I'm glad to hear that your people are diving into it, man, that they're ready.
Oh,
Uh, are you getting them queued up that, hey guys, it's just not about getting out in the blind that day? Are they getting out and helping you set up food plots or, putting out your
My grandkids and stuff, they love it. They help me go up and change the batteries and the cameras, and
good?
they're all about it.
Yeah. And that's what, I enjoy that just about as much as anything else. If you don't have a camera that's sending them out, I love going to check USB still sometime. It's just,
Oh, yeah,
it's exciting when you pop it up and man, hey, here's a surprise.
exactly.
Do you do a lot of target practice, Chris, either with your crossbow or rifle? I mean, it's summertime now, and I know that we're trying to get in some range time and
Oh yeah,
putting
you got
the targets up.
if you want to get that gun zeroed in or that crossbow zeroed in. You definitely got to put in the effort. And the thing is, now I've got a place. My job, I'm a 911 dispatcher for the sheriff's department here, so I now belong to the Fraternal Order of Police, the FOP, and
Yeah.
they have a lodge with a shooting range, where the officers go train. So I'm able to go down there to the range and shoot a lot now.
Man, thank you for your service, Chris. Dude, I was in law enforcement and I don't know how you do the job, but I thank you from that avenue of being on the road and all that you guys do for us. We joked around about it yesterday. I don't know how you guys do it. I'd rather kick a door. I can't process and listen to all the stuff you guys end up walking somebody through or getting them out of some of the situations they're in. And you guys are awesome professionals.
Well, Mike, thank you for that, because you just said it right. People don't realize that there
No.
there was a difference between doing it and,
Yes.
and telling somebody how to do it.
Yeah. And
But to have that ability to stay calm, Chris, and to walk people through that. And, they're calling you at the worst time in their life,
yes.
and they're relying on you to get them out of it.
Yeah,
And
we're basically the first responder they get.
yes, sir.
Uh,
And we've got a couple of friends that are 911 dispatchers, and as Mike said, that's such a stressful position to be in.
absolutely.
And we're really appreciative to have somebody like you to be able to be on that line for somebody that needs it.
Now, if I can boast my horn a little bit, the other thing too is in small town USA here. I'm from a little town called Bloomingdale, Indiana. I got in on the fire department here. I'm a fireman. Been a volunteer fireman now 24 years this year.
Yeah.
And you ought to see the look on people's faces when you pull up to a fire scene with a handicapped van that's got a side fold-out ramp. You got blue lights on it. They're flash. You get out the side ramp and you get to go to the back and you start putting on turnout gear. And
Yeah.
they're looking at you like, what? I'm like, you can look at me or you want me to go save your house,
Exactly, sir.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm
And
here to do work, man.
I just want to hit on this one more time, Chris, and then we'll move on to something else. But we had a good friend on who was living in Kentucky, and he fell out of his tree stand.
Yeah.
And when he called 911, he was fortunate enough to get service, which he's never had service
Never.
in that location before. And we kind of think it was a little bit of a miracle, but the
yeah.
the small town aspect, he knew the 911 dispatcher that he was talking to,
Yep.
and they knew where he was hunting at, and were able to call his family and get his son to kind of guide the rescuers in to get him. Everything about that was just such a miracle that he survived.
Oh
But
yeah.
being in a small town, I bet a lot of the people that are calling for your service.
And that is a big thing. I get people all the time and I know them, and it's rough because I'm hoping that they don't recognize my voice in that moment, because I'm like just trying to be that calm in the storm.
But you're a good neighbor to them is my point. It's a small community and you're taking care of each other.
Oh, absolutely.
And it brings up something else, Chris. You guys go through and you use such great discretion. You're walking these people through something that's traumatic, but then you're also that calm resolve that they get in a world of chaos. And so, again, man, thank you for doing that. And it's not for the faint of heart, and it's not an easy career to have.
I started out in '95 working for state police. Did that for a few years. Transitioned up. Had a chance to go work for a doctor's office. Did that for about 20 years. Now, the last 6 years, I've been out here at the local sheriff's department dispatching.
Fantastic, buddy. Fantastic. Chris, all of your experiences in life and your family time, what would you say to somebody that is newly injured, just starting out, maybe wanting to get into the outdoors? What advice would you give that person, him or her?
Oh, definitely do your research. There's things out there like you said, with the blinds, the chairs, just the equipment to use. Don't give up. Research it. If you got a goal and set and you want to do it, do it.
Yeah.
I've never been one of these that's, since I was born with it. There's a difference from being born with it or somebody that's been just injured and
Yeah.
but I got that don't quit attitude. If I want to do something, my biggest fear is waiting for somebody to tell me I can't do it.
Yeah.
I'll do it
Yeah.
bigger and better just to prove them that I can. I mean,
There you go. Right. And that's what it should be about. We love life. We want to get out there and live it. But Chris, you've been spot on this whole podcast, man. It's about telling people where you're going to hunt if you don't hunt with somebody. It's about going out there, finding where the passions you want to chase, putting in time to know your equipment and get close to those animals. Guys and girls, if you're listening, don't stop life, man. Just get out there and get it. You don't have to have a disability to get outdoors. We just make it look good.
And Chris, I got one other thing to say. Have you ever talked with or researched Wyoming disabled sportsmen? You're talking about elk being on your bucket list.
Yep.
And I know those boys out there in Wyoming are always putting on hunts for people with disabilities. Have you applied for any hunts out west for elk?
I have not. It seems like the ones when I do research, and maybe I'm not digging deep enough, are these ones that are like $10,000 and
Yep.
100% guaranteed. And so then you call them up and they're like, well, you come out here and you tell us what size you want, and we'll put it out in this 5-acre pen.
No, these are all free range elk, and basically, I think you just pay for your travel to get out there, and then they take care of everything else for you. It's a 501c charity.
Yep.
And the Wyoming disabled hunters, you got to get in and apply for one of those hunts, man, because I know they would love to have you and take good care of you.
I'd love it. I'll definitely look into that.
Yeah, look into them. Those guys are awesome to talk to. You have to do a couple steps. They're gonna want you to do a thing that you get a letter pretty much says you can also hunt from a vehicle because they got so much property that they cover and whatnot.
Here in Indiana.
Yeah, and they're doing that in a bunch of states now for mobility impaired hunters. But Chris, man, it'd be something awesome to get into. Elk is on my bucket list as well.
Well, let's get together and make this happen, guys.
Hey, man,
you gotta.
Hey, we gotta bring Horseshoe along with us so we can get him out there. Gotta have somebody to drag those elk out of there.
That's right.
He's a firefighter as well, so he's able to do that.
There you go.
Throw me over his shoulder, then I don't even need the track chair. He can just take me to the blind that way.
That's right.
The old fireman's carry. Well, Chris, we sure appreciate you coming on the podcast today and taking time, to speak with us and share your experiences. It was so much fun talking with you. Is there anything you'd like people to know about hunting with a disability or hunting in a different situation to encourage them to get out?
Like I said, just keep in mind it can be done. Get out there, no matter how you do it, just do it.
Man, you couldn't say it any better than that, Greg. I mean, it just is what it is. And Chris, man, thank you again for taking your time to come on and share your experiences. We don't want to make light of this, and we would definitely love to have you back on because I know there's a laundry list of stuff we didn't get to cover. And, you guys are doing amazing things. Just keep doing them, and you're inspiring others to get out there as well.
Absolutely.
And Chris, if people wanted to get a hold of you, how can they do that best? Is it through Instagram or Facebook, or what's the best way to ask you a question directly?
The best way is probably our Facebook, and right now I've got one that's a combination Facebook. It's me and my wife.
Yeah.
It's Chris and the letter N, Sasha Waymire. Just give me a shout out.
I had been on that this morning, and it looked like you guys were at a concert last night. I didn't know if you were going to make it on the podcast today. It looked like you were having such a good time.
Yeah, it was kind of a late night last night. The venue was probably about 2 hours away from my house. Of course, the time it got over and we drove back home, it was about 2 a.m. We got in.
You party animal, you, man.
All night long.
Riley Green's worth it, though. He's pretty good.
Yeah. He definitely is. Well, folks, thanks so much for listening to the Accessible Hunter podcast today. We appreciate you. And thanks for listening. Everybody have a great day.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.